In this lesson, we're going to learn about different types of angles. The three main ones we'll do are supplementary, complementary, and vertical. All right. So first, supplementary angles. They are any two angles whose sum is 180 degrees. Now a sum means you add. So they add up to 180 degrees. They're going to look like this. This is a 180 degrees. It's a straight line. So I have two angles that add up to it. Angle 1 and angle 2. I can say angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 180 degrees. Right. So what kinds of things make 180? Anything that adds up to 180, like 90 plus 90, 60 plus 120, right? Anything that adds up to it. If you're trying to figure out what's missing, like you know they're supplementary, but one's missing, you do 180 minus what they gave you. We'll tell you what's missing. Right, you're going to need that in a little bit. Right. And then complementary, similar idea, two angles whose sum or adding is 90 degrees. So supplementary was 180, complementary is 90. Right? 90 degrees is a right angle. And 90 degrees always has that little box in the corner. So two angles, so split it into two. Angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 90. Right? So something that adds up, so maybe 30 and 60, or 45, 45. Right? Anything that adds up to 90 will be complementary. If you're missing one of them and you want to know what it is, do 90 minus the one you do know. Will tell you the one that is missing. All right, our next one is vertical angles. Vertical angles are two angles that are across from each other on intersecting lines, and they are always congruent. So if we have intersecting lines, that means two lines cross each other. If you look in here, you see there's four angles in here. So those four angles, the ones across from each other, so this one and this one, those are called vertical angles. Right? And they are always congruent. That word congruent is like they're equal, right? Congruent is the same as equal, but when we use the word congruent, we're usually talking about like things, like angles or lines or triangles. Equal is only used when you're using numbers, right? So I can say angle 1 equals 90. But if I'm saying angle 1 and angle 2 are the same, I would say angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, right? So that's just the same as being equal. Right, so that's what congruent means. So angle 1 and angle 2 will always be the same measure. They're across from each other. Same thing if I did 3 and 4 here. They are across from each other, so they will equal each other or be congruent to each other. Right? That's vertical. The other one I want to talk about is adjacent angles. These aren't necessarily special angles. They're not congruent. They don't add up to anything. It's more about their placement. When you have adjacent angles, they're angles that are next to each other and share a common side. So if I take this angle and I add another angle here, these two angles are adjacent because they're next to each other and they share this side here. This is their common side. Right? If they don't have a common side, they're not adjacent. So angles like this one, if I do this, 1 and 2 here, they're not adjacent because they don't share a side. You got this gap in the middle. So 1 and 2 are not adjacent. They have to share that side there. So we're going to do one example here. It says, an angle measures 42 degrees. What is the measure of its complementary angle? So remember, complementary means they add up to 90. So we know they add up to 90. We're missing one. So we take 90 minus 42 that we do know, which leaves us with 48. So 48 degrees is the complementary angle to 42 degrees. For supplementary, they add up to 180. Then we take 180 minus 42, because it's 138 for a supplementary angle. And then lastly, vertical angles are always congruent. And congruent means that they're the same. So the vertical angle to 42 is 42. All right, if you have any questions, let me know through Remind.